drive is critical. What ends up happening is so many people are participating in what I like to call random acts of marketing. They're just trying whatever they can try. They're just kind of throwing spaghetti on the wall and hoping that it works out. And you have to focus your efforts. If you do not have a strategy, you will fail at business, or it will be 3-4 times harder than it needs to be. A strategy is at the heart and the foundation of everything to do in business. And a lot of you were saying, I feel stuck. Some of you were saying, and I said that's more about being stubborn. But the truth of the matter is you feel overwhelmed, you feel confused, and you feel stuck when you don't have a specific plan and strategy that you are following. You also don't know what questions to ask, and you don't know what kind of support to get. So I just want to ask you, how many times have you stopped? How many times in your life have you stopped? And here's what I know to be absolutely certain. If you kind of do it, it kind of works. And this is so much about commitment and your level of commitment, your commitment whether it's working, your commitment if it's not working, your commitment if you feel like doing this, wherever the plan went, feel like doing that plan, or you don't feel like doing that plan. What is your commitment level? And so I do want to ask you to profess this and confess this in the chat room. And I want to hear on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I will chew through barbed wire to make this happen, and 1 being maybe. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your commitment level to making or adding 6 figures to your bottom line this year? 10 is I'm going to chew through barbed wire and run barefoot, right, on glass to make this happen. And 1 is, it'd be nice if it happened. I don't know if I will participate in making it happen, right? So in the chat room, give me on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, what is your commitment level this year to adding 6 figures to your bottom line or making 6 figures? And, I'm going to ask you to dig deep as we talk about being driven and we talk about drive, because it's those ghosts and that shadow stuff, and that I wish this was easier, and this is I'm not good enough, and this is I'm afraid. It's all of that stuff that makes this hard. I had a client I love it. I'm seeing a 10. I love that. I'm seeing a 9. I love that. But I had a client today on one of my my program calls, and she asked me, she said, Suzanne, when you're making sales calls, what are you thinking? She said, what are you thinking? And I said, I'm thinking this is my job. I'm not overthinking it. I'm not stuck in the emotion. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not anything except going, this is my job. So if your job was to reach out to people, to ask them to work with you, to go places so you can get leads, to book speaking gigs for yourself, to make sales calls, to follow up with people, if that was your job and you were doing it sometimes, you would get fired from that job. So you really got to understand the drive and the principles of being driven, and understand that you can't half-ass this and expect it to work. If you half-assed it at a job, you would be fired. I actually had my clients today send themselves an email that said, Dear name, your job is to make 50 sales calls a day. You have been, over the last 30 days, doing X, and they had to fill in however many they've been made. Let's say they said 25. That means you are only performing 50% of your job. This is your final warning. You have 30 days to improve your job performance to 100%, or you will be terminated. And I had them boomerang themselves that email to come to them in 30 days. If you don't know what that means, in Gmail, you can queue an email to come to you at a later time. And I said, in 30 days, you have to treat this like a boss. If you haven't improved it, you should go get a job and stop this business thing. Because this is your job, right? And yes, the cool thing about it being your job is that you give back and you can make an impact and you can help people and you can be of service. But if your number, and I'm sorry, let me just look at numbers. I'm seeing 10s and 9s and 8s and 9s and some 7s and some 10s. I see an 11. I got 100. But let me just say this. If your number is below a 7, you really have to ask yourself, right? Like, either what do I need to do to get that number up because I do want this to happen, or you have to question whether this is the right move for you. And you know, and listen, there are a ton of different things going on for people. There are health issues and there are family issues and there's all kinds of things. But the bottom line is that you have to know that it is commitment. It is strategy combined with commitment. Let me say that again. It is a strategy. It's knowing exactly what to do, how to perform it, when it works, how to replicate it, and when it doesn't work, how to improve it. So it is strategy plus commitment that creates a driven, successful experience, right? And a successful business.